Well, hello everyone. This is Al Fadi, and I want to apologize for the intro. Looks like there was some disruptions in there, but I am excited really to launch for the first time for this year our promo for our upcoming online conference that will take place in October. This time we have designed it in a very unique way. It's going to be 2 weekends in a row, and we'll start on October 14th and October 15th, and then the following weekend, October 21st and October 22nd. The conference is going to address a variety of topics, and as you can see here with me, our dear brother, Dr. Jay Smith, who will also join us in the conference, and I invited him to really talk about the part that will be related to his track, or meaning the track that he'll be involved in. But first, let me welcome him. Then I'm going to give you, of course, a brief overview about the conference, and then we'll ask Dr. J to share more details about his part. Dr. J, thank you so much as always, brother, and I love to partner with you, and this is no exception, of course. You have been a key speaker for this conference since its inception 2 years ago. So thank you for taking the time to be here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to tell people, of course, a quick overview about our conference. I'm going to share some slides right now with people, and I'm going to do a shared screen, and we will go from there in terms of what we will be covering. So give me a second, guys. We're going to go to the slides, and from there, we are going to give an overview about everything that we will be covering here. So give me a second, guys. Google, of course, is asking all kind of questions at the moment, but it seemed like we cannot find we cannot find the slides, of course, as always. That's the key here. And unfortunately, we may have to use a different approach. All righty. Well, we will use a different approach. I always have plan B. So we are going to share the PowerPoint promotions, and they will allow you to take a look at what I'm talking about. Here it is. So the conference, of course, is going to be, as I mentioned, in October. Start here, October 14th and 15th, and October 21st and 22nd. Every day it will start at 12 p.m., 12 noon Eastern time, and will end around 4 p.m. Eastern time. The conference will have 4 tracks. So every day will represent a track. So on the 14th, we will have a track called the Apologetics track. And this is why I'm inviting our dear brother, Dr. Jay Smith, to highlight at least his part, but also to highlight the importance of a track like that. The track on the 15th is going to be about ministry to Muslim women, and the track on the 21st will be about discipleship, but this will be led by former Muslims like myself. Most of us are from Saudi, and we will be talking about just the importance of discipling newcomers to Christ, especially from, of course, our background. And the track on the 22nd is going to talk about future plans, God's future vision for the Middle East and for the Muslims. Even though it's called the prophecy, we are not, and we never really took the traditional approach about prophecy in terms of when is Jesus coming back, or Israel, or this or that. We focus only on God's heart for the Middle East, and that's what is so important about it. Here is again a look at track 1 on October 14th. It's apologetics to our Muslim friends. This is a highlight of some of our teachers and speakers. Some of them, by the way, end up recording if they could not join us live. So that doesn't mean if you registered, you're not gonna benefit from that, because whether you attend or not, meaning if you register, whether you attend live or not, you will always get the recording of the speakers. So if you attended live, you'll watch him, but then you'll get the recording. And if you couldn't attend because work schedule or other conflicts, you're still gonna get the recordings. Here's track 2. That's specifically for reaching Muslim women. And this particular one is kind of unique because we have other teachers, other sisters who are former Muslims or working with Muslims who requested that their sessions not be recorded. So this particular one is kind of time sensitive, and people need to really take the time to attend if they want to watch those teachings. But some of them, like Sister Karen Bajani, she has no problem recording her session as well. She is you can Google her name. She does wonderful work when it comes to that side of the ministry. It is track 3, which is the following weekend on October 21st on Friday. That will be led by the 3 of us, all of us former Muslims from Saudi, myself, Brother Nasser, and Brother Andrew. And we are all going to talk about the importance, of course, of using biblically sound approaches to evangelize and to disciple the former Muslims. And finally, this is the one we call Prophecy in the Middle East, talking about God's heart for the Muslims and for the Middle East. And this is a highlight of some of our amazing speakers. Brother Ron Cantor, our dear brother, and now a senior pastor in Australia, Daniel Succum, and Brother Chris Anderson, and also Brother Mark Davidson. All of those are our teachers. And of course, this is extremely important for you to take the time to register. You can see the link, cirainternational.com/conference. We have a discount. We call it the early bird discount, but it's not going to last for too long. So please take advantage of that. You can register for one track at a time. You can register for 1 weekend at a time, or you can register for all of these sessions. Now, let me turn our attention back to our dear brother, Dr. J. Dr. J, welcome back. Of course, you have taught at this conference. Of course, your passion is apologetics and polemics, to be exact. Before you even talk about the topic you will be addressing, I always like to highlight with you, for the benefit of everyone who's watching, why do we use apologetics and polemics in ministry to Muslims?
Thanks so much for having me on, Al-Fadi. I really like the lineup of the people you have for this conference. There's some new faces there. But as to this question on why apologetics and polemics, it's because we're engaging with Muslims, and Muslims more than any other in themselves engage in apologetics and primarily in polemics. They understand it more than anybody else. Most Americans, most Europeans don't like apologetics and polemics. It doesn't fit well with our scheme of things. We are not comfortable with asking questions, or certainly confronting questions that confront the other. We don't like that. Now, we do it all the time. And when you certainly, if you take any course on any Bible school or any seminary, both here in the United States and in Europe, you'll be given all kinds of pointers on how to confront the Jehovah's Witnesses, how to confront the Mormons that come at your door, and certainly the atheists and the humanists. And in fact, I did my first master's degree on apologetics on that very thing. Learning the cosmological argument, learning all about the teleological argument, the moral arguments, which work great with humanists and great with the atheists, the majority of people that we come in contact with when we're engaging. But it doesn't, obviously, those don't work at all well with Muslims. And this is one reason why people have not used these tools in Islam. To be fair, there is a fear of using apologetics and polemics in Islam. I understand that. I try to understand that. I don't fear Islam, and I don't fear Muslims, mainly because I've grown up with them all my whole life. So because of that, it's been a lot easier for me to have been engaged in both apologetic and polemics for the last 40 years, especially for the 25 years at Speaker's Corner in London, Hyde Park, which is the best training ground I think you could find in the world for how to defend your faith and then go on the offense. And it's that offense that we don't know what to do with Muslims. We do with everybody else, but not with Muslims. There's no school except ours, the MAPI program that you're a part of and you're teaching right now, where we do teach how to go on the offense. And it's that we have found has been absolutely groundbreaking and ground-shattering for Muslims. They're not used to having their foundations questioned. They certainly are not used to having their Quran or their prophet questions, and certainly not historically. And yet, here we've been sitting on all this material, and no one's ever researched it to say less even using it in a public context. We're doing that now, and certainly in the last 2 to maybe 4 years, we have really engaged on what we call the historical critique, which is polemical, which is going on the offense and asking the very questions that have been asked of us about our Bible, about our Lord Jesus Christ, about the origins of Christianity. We're now turning these same questions and throwing it right back at Islam. And whoa, this has been fun. I don't know of, you've been involved with this, Al-Fadi. You and I have probably done more than anybody else on the historical critique, at least getting it out and putting it in a studio environment, a professional environment, so the whole world can see it, understand it, use it, and then employ it themselves. There have been others who have been really at the forefront of this. Of course, the Sin Sifters that you brought onto your show about a year ago. And then, of course, Hatun Tosh, who is our good colleague and who is working on this on a weekly basis there at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, where I used to spend 25 years. She has now been, I think it's almost coming up to 9 years she has been there. And she is using this to such a good effect. She has brought over 1,000 Muslims to Jesus Christ in just the last 3 years. 17 imams have become Christians just using polemics. So why should we use it? Well, just look at the results. And the fact that we're doing it with Muslims, it works more effectively on Muslims than anybody else for two reasons. One, they understand, they love it. They love the engagement. They love the cut and parry back and forth. It's very much part of their culture. Most of them come from oral cultures where you are expected to not only confront the other, but also defend from the other. It is part of the way they grow up. It's how they study. It's how they do their politics. It's how they do their religion. Therefore, they're not at all fearful of it. They feel comfortable with it, unlike us. But secondly, and the second reason, it is so destructive to the foundations of Islam. You cannot, until you get a Muslim's attention, and this is the problem we've had with missiology in Islam, until you get their attention to preach the gospel, they're not going to listen to the gospel. They are so sure that the Quran is the word of God. So why should they look at the Bible? They are so sure that Muhammad is the last and final prophet and the greatest paradigm for all of mankind. So why should they look at Jesus Christ? They are so sure that Allah is God. And who is this Yahweh that we're talking about? You can see why they're not listening to us, why they don't pay attention, because they don't believe we have anything to offer since they've got everything. In fact, if you notice, when you engage with Muslims, as soon as you tell them you're a Christian, they start polemicizing and confronting Jesus, God bless them, confronting the Trinity, confronting his divinity, confronting our scriptures. And I sit there and say, why aren't we doing the same in kind? Just follow them, use their example, see why they get so excited about it. They get so excited because they really do believe they've got the answer and we don't. So how are we going to introduce that answer? You've got to confront those foundations. You've got to start shutting down the Quran and Muhammad, and of course their God Allah, and then of course the fourth thing we add to that, and that is their city Mecca. So those are the things. That's why I think we do need to engage. We need to start training others to do that, because it is so effective and it is so easy. Now, what I'm going to be doing, I don't know if you want me to go on to this, if you want to come back on it, Al-Fadi, because I can tell you what I'll be doing at the conference on the 14th of October.
Yes, please. I want to just emphasize what you just mentioned, brother. You and I did talk about partnering together in terms of training people to do that. I'll bring in my background, of course, and you'll bring in the material, and we can collaborate, and we need to continue this discussion to see how we can do that for the benefit of many. But you're absolutely correct. It's one of the most damaging things to a Muslim mind is when you really basically show the holes, literally the holes in the standard narrative that every Muslim passionately and also faithfully believed in it. Yeah. I believed in it, never questioned it. I believed in the CIRA. I believed in the history of Islam. I believed in Mecca. I believed in when Muhammad came to basically the picture as a prophet, how long he lived as a prophet, when did he die, and the battles that he engaged in and spread in Islam. I believed in the Uthmanic tradition. I believed in all of these stories about the Quran. But now I'm doing my PhD, brother, in Quranic manuscripts. And I can tell you, by the time we finish, Lord willing, if it is in God's will for me to finish and publish it, it is going to be damaging to anybody who believes there is such a thing as a preserved Quran. Preserved, that's the word I'm going to use, preserved Quran. It is one thing if our Muslim friends will be willing to say, okay, I get it. The Quran went through a process of edits and modification. You know what? I'll give it to you. Praise the Lord that you finally reached that point. But to keep insisting that it's preserved, perfectly preserved, we have a huge problem. So that was a good segue, of course, to get into what you will be addressing. And I want to tell people, I guarantee you, even though you've heard Dr. J mentioning about the things that he's passionate about, every time we do a show together or series, there is something new. So, brother, turn it over to you now to talk about what you will be covering during the conference.
You're so right. And I think this is we can't emphasize this enough. The historical critique, which I've been working on for the last, oh my goodness, well, I started this in 1995. So do your math, or I should do my math. That's almost 27 years ago. I have found in the last 4 years, since I've come back to the United States and have been working and doing the research, I have found that this has just gone from strength to strength. We've just blown things right open. And I've never seen this much disarray by Muslims who don't know who have no response to this new historical critique. But the problem is we're getting so much new material, and it's coming on almost daily, certainly weekly. And I'm throwing them up there, trying to get 3 times a week, get the videos up there with all this new material, and it's overwhelming many people. And what I'm hearing from an awful lot of our watchers and people who are watching our both CIRA International and Fander Films, what I'm hearing from many of the people is it's overwhelming us. We don't know what to do. How do you put it all together? Give us some way that we can encapsulate it so that it can be usable. And that's what I'm going to do on the 14th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it all together, and I'm going to show you how you can use both the book, the man, and the place. Those are the 3 things we're going to look at: the book, the Quran, the man, Muhammad, and the place. How to actually encapsulate it, and where we are right now as of October 2022. Where we are right now with the book, the man, and the place. I'll add one other, probably 4th category, and that would be the sources. But those 4 areas, we're going to show you how you can use them real quickly. I'm trying to get it in. What's the time limit you're giving me, by the way? I don't even know what it is yet.
For the lesson, about 45 minutes plus Q&A, and then there is a panel discussion, of course, where we will have at least an hour.
So I'm going to get it in 45 minutes. This will be a record time, but it can be done. It can be done.
It will be a teaser. It will be a teaser because we want people to come back to your program, my program, and also watch our live stream that we will be covering. That's the whole idea, is we want it to be a teaser. There is also the MAPI program that they can also audit or register for.
Yeah. Now, this will be an encapsulation in 45 minutes of how, and what did Islam do? How did it begin? What can we now know concerning the origins of Islam? 45 minutes. We're going to try to get all that done. Oh boy, that's going to be a big task on my part, but it's going to be get done, and we'll do that on the 14th.
Well, that will be a cause for you to say, "Woo,
That's my signature piece, and you're borrowing it."
Well, rather wonderful. Thank you so much, of course, as always, for doing this. And it's a privilege, really, to partner with you. Of course, today I will be doing our week 2 for this MAPI program, which I would love at some point you and I highlight why is that program is unique and important for people to consider whether they want to audit it, whether they want to take it for professional enrichment, or even register to take the 10 courses and earn a master's in the field of Islamic polemics and apologetics, something that I feel like I'm not aware of anybody else that does it the way we are doing it, obviously. So again,
a school that has a master's on both apologetic and polemics of Islam. That is unique in the world, and we're the first to do it, and you're a part of it. I'm one of the professors, and there are 5 of us who are doing it, who are a team.
So I want to, again, before we close, I want to remind people, we're talking about this upcoming online conference. This is our 3rd annual conference, the 2022 CIRA Online Conference. You can see the URL where you can register. It's at cirainternational.com/conference. We have 4 tracks. We are talking today about track 1, which is the apologetics track. And one of our teachers will be Dr. Jay Smith. We have others as well. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this one more time for people so that they are aware of what we are covering here when it comes to that. So once again, here is the conference that we are talking about. And this is basically the track. This is the overall conference, I should say. It's October 14th and October 15th. That's the first weekend. October 21st and October 22nd. That's the second weekend. And then we have track 1 on the 14th, apologetics. Track 1 on the 14th for apologetics. And I am going to basically change the screen right now for you. And this is the information about that track. As you can see, this is the information about that track, which is the one that Dr. J is going to be part of. And you can see here that it talks about apologetics and polemics to our Muslim friends. And Dr. J, of course, will focus on his specialty, which is the historical critique. Dr. Edward Dalcor is going to talk about theological issues. We have Dr. Tony Costa, who is going to talk also about cults in general. We have our brother George Husney, who kindly agreed to be one of our speakers, and he is going to be more on the motivational side. And me and David Wood are still in conversation about the topic that he would like to address as well. Some of the speakers, as I stated before, may not join us live due to conflict in their schedule, but they kindly agreed to participate. So you will still watch their recording, or I may end up doing a live stream in advance with them so everybody can get the chance to meet them and also be able to interact with them. So this is the conference. We look forward to seeing you, and I will be doing more promos like this with other speakers as well to continue to highlight the importance of why we're doing what we're doing. It is at the end of the day really to reach our Muslim friends for Christ and help them understand why Jesus is the answer, why our man is the solution, not their man, why our book is the book that teaches the truth, not their book, why our God is the true God, not their God, and the list can go on and on and on. Brother, any last minute things that you would like to share?
No, it comes down to really that: the book, the man, and the place. The book, the man, and the place. Without any one of those four, if you destroy any one of those four, Islam comes crashing down, which means you confront and you take out the whole foundation of everything they believe. And we haven't taught people how to do just that. It's very politically correct. There's no hate in what we're doing. There's no Islamophobia in what we're doing. What we're doing is what was done for Christianity, and we passed every one of those tests. But now we've got to change our focus and apply to Islam, and that we'll do on the 14th. At least I'll be doing that on the 14th. David will be doing from another standpoint, and certainly George, good friend of mine. So is David. Edward Dalcor. I know all these guys. They're such great, not only men of God, but they're so well reasoned and they're so well experienced. You're getting a great crew on board. Kudos to you, Al-Fadi, for doing that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, everyone. This will conclude this promotional live stream video that focused on track 1 and an overview, of course, of our conference, the upcoming conference, the 2022 CIRA Online Conference, which you can see the URL, of course. And you can go to my Facebook pages. I have this information already pinned at the top of the pages. And then you can also look down at the description box of this video and you can see more information on how to register. You can go to the http://cirainternational.com/conference. Until then, everyone, have a blessed day. And thank you, dear brother. Take care. God bless.
Bye-bye.